Grace's older sister.
And I'm Carly. I'm Grace's younger sister, and we want to welcome everyone to Grace and Alec's wedding.
So, what many people may not know is that about 10 years ago, at an all-day volleyball tournament, our mom, Cammie, and Alec's mom, Denise, actually tried to set Grace and Alec up. At the time, they were both in previous relationships, but because we're here today, I think it's safe to say moms really do know best.
Okay, now fast forward about 4 years, we kept hearing about her friend, Alec. They were just friends because Grace had sworn off dating until the brain was fully matured and developed at age 23. She made it 9 months. Despite just being friends, we kept hearing how perfect they were for each other because they both loved to dip their French fries in honey mustard sauce. Now, I know Alec from art class, and despite being colorblind, he can still mix paint better than I can. We really bonded over that class, especially the oil painting week. That was a tough one. But at the end of the year, I remember being so sad because the class was over and I wouldn't be able to talk to him anymore every day. So you can imagine how excited I was when they started to date.
So, Alec has supported Grace through many ups and downs, including some of her most questionable fashion choices. I knew he was the one for her when, one day before thrifting was cool, he took her to Goodwill and he let her pick out some clothes for him. Okay, so I want everybody to take a minute and think of the most obnoxious, multicolored, graphic t-shirt you can possibly imagine. Okay, everybody got that? That's what she picked out for him. All right? And to make it even better, they came home and added iron-on patches to it. Right? Okay, so you got this visual image of what this t-shirt's looking like. So they finish, Alec puts it on, and he goes, cool fit. And we're all looking at him like, yeah, okay. And then that's when Carly comes home from school and goes, hey guys, did you know Alec's colorblind? And we're like, oh, that makes sense. Right? So I think deep down Alec knew it was bad. He just didn't know how bad it really was. But to his credit, he wore it out in public. So I think it's safe to say that Grace adds color to his otherwise pretty gray life. Alec has always let Grace be her most creative, authentic self and has always gone along with all of her antics.
Okay, so as many of you may know, Grace is quite the actress, and some may say a bit dramatic. When we were little, we would get into arguments, and she would fake cry, run upstairs, pack a bag, and storm out the door because she was going to run away. But if you know where her parents live, you know there'd be no one around, and no one would come pick her up. And when you would start to wonder, I wonder where Grace was, you'd turn around, and she'd come through the front door laughing.
Alec, when Grace loves, she loves with her whole heart. She will always come back and show up for you again and again and again. And if for some reason she doesn't come back, don't worry. She always leaves a trail of her things wherever she goes, so you'll be able to find her.
Now, Grace, you have always kept life interesting. Thank you for always making us laugh, being our closest confidant, a great DJ, and the best aunt to Micah. You are uniquely you, and you always light up any room you walk into. We can't wait to watch you take on this new role. We know you will crush it just like you did as Wednesday Addams in the Addams Family. Always remember that we're your biggest supporters, and don't forget to break a leg.
Now, Grace and Alec, take a minute, look around this room full of people here to love and support you, not only today on your best day, but also on the worst days for the rest of your lives. On behalf of our families, we want to thank you all for the impact you have had on Grace and Alec and for the love and support you have shown them. They are incredibly blessed to have you. Love, support, and prayers.
Now, if everybody could please raise a glass as we wish happy on Grace and Alec's first day of forever. May your life be filled with love, laughter, gnomes, and nutcrackers. Cheers.
All right, our next speech is going to be coming from the next maid of honor, Kylie.
I would like to preface two things. First, I've lost my voice for how much fun I've had the past few days. And second, I've not been able to say this speech without crying, so please bear with me. Many of you have seen me at family parties, birthdays, and celebrations, and that is because I am basically Grace's sister. Grace and I became best friends when I saw her walk into Mrs. Carlton and Mrs. Moore's first grade classroom wearing sparkly jeans, and I just knew I had to be friends with someone who had such great fashion sense. Since then, I have been trying to be just like you. Wherever Grace was, I was right by her side, whether it was St. Joe's cheer, theater, volleyball, and CMU, even though I didn't attend classes there, I was there every weekend, basically living like a Chippewa. Grace has a passion in everything she does, and I try to have that same passion in my life. She never fails to include everyone and will always be the person to reach out, even when you didn't know you needed it. We always know what each other's thinking and what each other needs. We also know how to have fun, whether the boys agree or not. From waiting in line to a Toby Mac concert that we never actually got to see, laying on our couch in my driveway, late night sneak outs to pick up candy cigarettes from the deli, endless driveway chats where my family was concerned at who was in the driveway for how long we sat and talked, to getting to Florida in an Airbnb with no electricity. It never stopped there. From driving home in a tornado with our trusty driver Jade, to dumping rotting hamburger meat juice off the terrace because you and Jade were gagging too much. Sorry, neighbors. We've gone through so much life together, and I would not be half the person I am without you. Grace, you complete me and are my better half. Alec came into the story a little bit later. It was about sophomore year when we became friends, not just because we had lockers next to each other, but a few conversations later, we realized we were very similar people. Alec supported my impulsive spending, and I supported his many different chapters and hobbies of his life, including football, weightlifting, his move from Siena to CMU, piercings, longboarding, tattoos, golf, fishing, the guitar, bow hunting, the drums, his gun collection. Did I miss anything? Alec found his happiness and his wholeness in Grace. Alec, thank you for being my hype man and also the one to say what everyone is thinking, with me right there next to you. Grace, I have watched you with your steadiness, and your ability to give people comfort just by being there make Alec absolutely complete. Alec, I have watched as your support, your all or nothing attitude, and your heart make Grace her happiest and most authentic self. I have been very blessed to watch my two best friends fall in love. And I look up to both of you in my relationship and as a person striving to be who you two are. I cannot count how many times you've been there for me because you both have such genuine hearts. I can't wait to see what this marriage brings for the both of you. And with that, let's all raise a glass to Grace and Alec. May the future hold your happiness. May the future hold your health. May your heart hold your love, and may your arms hold your babies yet to come. Cheers.
All right, let's do a round of applause for all three maids of honor. All right, up next we're going to be hearing from the best man, Peyton.
First things first, I'd like to say to Grace and to both sets of parents, this is an absolutely beautiful wedding reception. I think you guys did a great job, so we get a round of applause for them, please. And Alec, buddy, I'm sure during all the hard work and intense decision making, you were there for real moral support, so power to you, man. But my name's Peyton. I've been friends with Alec for quite a few years now, and I've been lucky enough to be around Grace and Alec since the beginning. But when Alec asked me to be his best man, it took me back to where him and I's friendship even began. It's a pretty good little story for those who don't know it, so I thought I'd share it with you. So Alec and I didn't begin as friends at all. We actually began as rivals. Yes, for those who don't know me, I'm from Fowler, the natural rival of Westphalia. So back when I first knew Alec, it was simply as the quarterback of the enemy football team. So it's only natural that him and I did not get along. And yeah, I'll admit, it was a pretty one-sided rivalry back then, but I do remember scoring on you guys. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We gotta stick together behind enemy lines here, man. But little did we know back then that actually one day we'd be teammates. Alec, being a year older than me, went on to play football at Siena Heights University down in Adrian. I was right behind him, and it was a pretty big transition, you know, moving away from home, starting classes, starting on a new football team. It was pretty intimidating. But I'd been friends with Carter Thelen, as him and I were in the same class. He was also going to play football. And I had a few text conversations with Alec, so I thought, hey, I've got a few friendly faces, but I was wrong. You see, when I graduated, I put the rivalry in the rearview mirror, you know, let bygones be bygones. And Alec, though he may have been friendly on the exterior, held that rivalry deep down like a grudge. Which isn't surprising, because he's by far the most competitive person I've ever met in my life. I mean, seriously, you ever played ping pong with this guy? It's a nightmare. But that was shown by him spreading some rumors about me around the football team and to our friend group. Now, it was nothing too crazy. Just stuff along the lines of, oh, that kid from Fowler can't play. He's not going to be a player. What was the one, Alec? What was it? Oh, that kid's nothing but mashed potatoes. You know, I'll admit, calling a fat white guy mashed potatoes is a pretty solid joke. For a kicker. Once I could prove I could play football, Alec decided it was all right that him and I became friends. But no, once we actually got to know each other, have a few real conversations, we found out we really weren't so different after all. Once we're rivals, and I come from a family where I'm the youngest of 5, so I've always had a lot of support around me. And I'm also a firm believer in that your friends are the family that you get to choose. And Alec quickly became my big brother away from home. Whether it was my best day of practice or worst day of practice, he was the first guy I was going to. Whether I needed help with my homework, needed someone to talk about my faith with, or needed someone to split the cost of the cheapest 12-pack I could get my hands on, Alec was always there. And actually down at Siena is where I got to meet Grace and where they started dating. And yes, they've been inseparable ever since then. But we have so many great memories down there. We have so many more once Alec and I transferred to CMU, where Grace was going to school. And I'm sure you all know Grace as well as I do, and that she's nothing but a kind soul who would do just about anything for her friends, just like Alec would. And I actually remember my first semester at CMU commuting. Grace and Jay let me crash on their couch many nights in those winter months, so I'd have to drive back and forth in the snow. So very thankfully, or it was some bums living in your house. But knowing Grace and Alec since the beginning has allowed me to see how things have changed and things have stayed the same over time. And truthfully, not a lot has changed, you know. They've always been best friends, been inseparable, had each other's backs. And I think the only thing that has changed is maybe, just maybe, Grace's tolerance for all of his hobbies has gone up. Just maybe. But I think it kind of goes unsaid in our friend group, definitely goes unsaid by me, but I've always looked up to Grace and Alec as role models of what a relationship should look like, and I've always felt very fortunate to have that. And I don't think it's a shock to anyone that we're all here today, but it's especially not a shock to me, because in all those late night talks with Alec back at Siena, there's always one thing consistent, and that was him talking about Grace for about 98% of the conversation. So I had a feeling deep down that maybe one day we'd be here, but Alec and Grace, I'm so grateful I've been able to be around you both since the beginning and watch you both grow together, and I'm truthfully honored to call you both my friends. And me, like everyone else in this room, are so excited to see where this is going to take you both. But I could stand up here all night and talk about how great these two are, so if everyone could join me in raising a glass. To Mr. and Mrs. Thelen, congratulations, I love you both, and may God bless both of you in your future together. Cheers.
All right, let's give a round of applause to Peyton. All right, before we get back to the party, we have some words from the bride and groom.
Wow, This has truly been the best day of our lives, and I feel so, so blessed to be able to share it all with you. Alec and I are so, so thankful for each and every one of you who have put in the time and the effort and the prayers and the support and the love throughout our whole relationship. Just a few thank yous. We want to thank the Littwiller family for a delicious meal. We want to thank Marissa for keeping the dance floor packed all night. For our bartenders who are going to give those the confidence to do so if they need it. And we also want to thank Megan and Lex for capturing all those moments and everything throughout today. We want to thank Todd and Brandy and Pat and Christy for being the best host and hostess that we could ask for. You have truly made this such a seamless weekend, and we are so thankful for you. And we want to thank our families, our parents, our siblings, our aunts, our uncles, and our cousins for all of the love and support and all the effort and time that it took to make this day happen. And of course, we also want to thank all of our friends, our family friends, everybody here. It's been such an honor to be able to share this day with you, and we can't wait to celebrate with you tonight. And we just thank you so much for all the support and the prayers, because Alec and I, we've been talking about it, and we truly have felt all of the love and the support through this whole week. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you.